Yeah. So I'm sharing it. So far we discussed about the project management system, whichever we wanted to do. Yeah. So far we discussed that what use cases we are going to implement for this product management system, right? So we draw that use cases also here. We need two roles basically into the system mainly. One is super admin. He should able to create warehouses wherever he want across all the cities. Warehouses and its locations he should able to create, and he should able to create a admin for it or a manager for it, right? Whoever manages that warehouse. So this roles as a super admin or a business owner, I should able to do that. And as a warehouse admin, he should able to create brands, I mean, uh, out of categories, right? So a category contains multiple brands, right? Category means a generic uh, category type, like let's say a mobile phone is a category. It will not say it belongs to any brand or any particular phone, right? So to say it is belongs to some brand, a phone should be belongs to a brand, and the brand should have a item. Finally, that particular phone or a device. So we call it as an item, or you can say the combination of these two, a brand and a item, called a product finally. So the products whichever he wanted to maintain in his warehouse, like phones, mobile phones, electronic devices like laptops, any desktop devices, okay, and any watches kind of thing, anything which you wanted to sell. You will create all such categories and the available brands for that categories and each item. Right, end of that each item will have a code including that item code and its original price and his margin, everything he will maintain. So that when he sell that items, he can able to calculate based on the items which he sell, he can able to calculate how much he generated revenue. And for quick search, let's say as a warehouse admin, you wanted to see, you have huge number of items in your warehouse. You want to search an item and you want to do some corrections in it. you entered some wrong price. That e-commerce system is not allowing you to publish it. So I wanted to get that item quickly and I want to make updates. So you need some kind of quick search mechanism. So a search module, and to manage multimedia for each product, right? We need a multimedia management. There I can able to upload my videos and images, right? In a required uh, sizes and in a required uh, for every image we need to provide some particular size which fits to e-commerce. So whatever their recommended sizes, that sizes only we should able to upload here. And if you are providing any offers or coupons, that also should able to provide here. Finally, you should able to publish your product into e-commerce. That's what our final agenda. And from here, it's not belongs to our system. Okay, ours is a some kind of a downstream system. It sends to data to some other upstream systems. So they will pull our data and or we push our data there, right? We publish and they will sell that items. So finally, this is what we wanted to achieve. Now, I mean, yesterday we were creating these entities and all, right? But before these entities and all, I wanted to create an architecture diagram. Have we done that before? Architecture, typical architecture. Yeah, we did, right? So you can see here. Let me zoom it.
Sir, what are the other roles
Sorry,
apart from super admin?
I didn't get you. Can you put mic little
Yeah, hello.
far from you? Yeah,
Hello.
yeah.
Yeah, what are the other roles apart from super admin?
No, super admin is the owner and a admin we are creating who will manage actual product data. If you want multiple roles, see here his job or warehouse admin job is we should be able to do all these activities, ABCD activities, whatever we have here. These all are his works. He should be able to do that. In case if you want multiple roles, what you should do, you should provide user management. For super admin, you should provide user management. There he should be able to create users. Of course, he is managing warehouse admins, right? Here, along with that, or you can say user management, privilege management, you should create. So that dynamically you can create n number of roles with different privileges. Privileges means all these are your actions, available actions in your system for managing brands, categories, items, multimedia, coupons, for publishing it. You have all these options. So you can decide which option should give to which user. Let's say for maintaining items, you want one person. Okay, you have one engineer who can maintain these items. You will assign that job to him. You have a special multimedia team who really focus on, capturing images. You know, getting these images is also a difficult job, right? I can't capture all the images as an engineer. Maybe I need a multimedia team, right? Or a graphics team who will create these images. If he wants to assign that role to particular multimedia team, he can assign. They can upload images for each item, which are not having the images. Okay. So user management we can add here if you want multiple roles. But on very high level, these two roles are sufficient. Okay. If you wanted to see multiple roles in the system, dynamically, we should manage users and his privileges. We have to include user management. user management as a separate use case we need to add for super admin. Okay. That clarifies your question.
Yes, yes, got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Basically, user management in my system I created basically. We used to have a user management and dynamic privileges. So in dynamic privileges, we used to give read, write, view, such privileges. So that during logging of that user, I used to identify all the privileges which has given to him. And based on that conditions only, I used to display these actions to. Okay, that we can do. It's not a big deal. As part of our security authentication and authorization, we can able to achieve it dynamically. Okay, in case if at all want to include. Now,
Yes.
coming to architecture here, right? So this is what we thought. So we will maintain it in a microservices architecture, and as you all aware of it, in microservices architecture, the main important component that first we required is the gateway. Many people will ignore it, okay, because microservices is new to the industry. People directly starting application development and integrating with front end and working on it, okay. But before that, if whatever cloud has been chosen or whatever architecture open sources if you wanted to use within your uh, cloud instances or wherever you wanted to deploy or in your private machines in microservices, get a gateway first, take a gateway first or create a gateway first. Why we need this gateway first is gateway will not have your multimedia management or product management and all. It's a simple application, right? This application URL we used to share with the front end first. So that front end team, if they wanted to exchange any information to your microservices, they will call first this gateway. So that gateway system can allow front end request directly. System level security also need to configure, right? Which system should able to call my gateway first? Who is having access to your office? Who will enter into your office? Only employees. How? They will have security scanning cards. They will scan it and they will enter into the office via gateway. So the gateway achieved security there, right? And front desk people also will sit there and they will check and they will logging in you. They will ask you to log in at what time you came, at what time you are leaving. Who will do that on the gateway itself? Your front office team will do that. And when you go to office, if seats are full, now what's happening in offices? When we visit, each company hired so many employees, though they don't have sufficient chairs. So we need to book chair and we should go there. So when you enter load balancing is just consider you don't have seats in your so and so floor. So the front desk people they should able to guide you to go to another floor, kind of load balancing. As gateway as a single point of contact we have between our backend and front end so that it can able to manage anything. When you enter, you will come to him first. He will check you authorized and at what time you came and the load balancing, everything it will handle. And one more thing, you might heard about cars, crash origin. Generally, when I deploy application, even in interviews, I'm seeing many people not able to answer this. So I will say I worked on microservices, I deploy my service Okay, how you will share your service? One person he was answering that, sir, I worked on 5 services. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 services. You worked fine. How you given your access to front end team? He's saying, I given my A service, B service, C, D, E services URLs to front end team. Okay, very good. Will they able to access your application? Yes, sir. Because I given URLs to front end, they should able to access me. Okay. Now I asked him, here I am a front end person. I am accessing you, and same URLs I given to my neighbor team. Intentionally, I given to my neighbor team just to try a access. So another team, which is not my front end, another front end team also tried to access your URLs. They can able to access you. Similar way, I asked to public people, not inside domain, outside the domain people also asked to try to access it. Or I tried from my personal laptop, from my personal application. I leave office for the day and I came home and I created one test application. I kept this URLs there. Still I can able to access it. Why? Is there any security flaw? When I ask him, yeah, you can able to access it because we give an access to everyone. No, that is not the real case thing, right? In reality, we never share or we never give access to each and every application. We give access to only application who is having access. As I said, right, if you are an employee, you only access here. That's what I used to configure here. Your employee ID and your access is there or not, I'll configure here, or I'll configure here and I'll check it first. If you are allowed, then only it will allow. Okay, that is kind of authentication on user level. But on app level, within the same company, whoever is accessing this application, he is having one more front end app. From there also, if you try to access it intentionally, he can able to access it. He will pass security. Let's say you're working on 14th floor, your domain is completely different. You are working for some ABCD bank. And in something 10th floor, in 5th floor, you have different ODCs. So you visited that ODCs and there another banking applications are running. You have login access. From security terminology, you have login access. But when you go to visit that special ODCs, they will check again, is this person is having to access to that so-and-so ODCs. You know, right? For banking applications, they will have separate dedicated ODCs. They don't allow you, though you are from the same company, right? Some from the same vendor, they don't, let's say you are working for TCS, if TCS giving services for ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank, in the same campus itself, ICICI people cannot visit HDFC Bank. HDFC cannot visit ICICI Bank ODCs. Into their rooms, they don't allow. Again, they will put scanning here. They need to scan, and if they have access, then only they will enter into that special ODCs. So such a coarse configuration we need to put here. The URL of front end we will configure here, and we will say that is allowed. So when I say him, are you not configuring course? No, but we should configure this front end course. We should configure here. This application URL or this application IP address we should configure here, so that whichever is coming from that so and so IP, these applications will allow. If anybody try to, or if anybody try to mimic that request, and if they try to call, it won't allow. That's how it will handle security. But it's a maintenance problem. Without a gateway, if you allow front end to back end applications. So when I asked him, are you not using gateway? Then he was realizing it. Okay, gateway is required. So first gateway is required. So gateway URL we allow here. Gateway IP we allow across all our microservices. So whichever request coming from gateway, we accept it. And gateway will allow this front end application. So solution is ready now. So in future, if you do any changes in your product service or your product service server itself, you change IP change. You simply go to gateway and change your IP address here. So that gateway will redirect request to new product service. Okay. Apart from gateway, we can use load balancer also for that purpose. We will use load balancer as well. I've not mentioned it here, but we need to use. We will use a separate Eureka server for load balancing. Okay. And if there is any static content while our front end designing, right? If you need any static images, basically multimedia module we have that is for dynamic images. Okay. So even for that dynamic images, we will use CDNs so that quickly it will able to load the data. Otherwise, to load images, it will take lot of time. In my first application, I don't have any cloud services or blob services. I used to upload directly into the system and I used to load it from there. It used to take a little bit time. But if you use any blob storages, particular image storages, they will have some kind of cache mechanism and they will render images directly here in a quick turnaround, in a quick time, so that it will not take a lot of time to load your static content or images content or videos. It will render from here to here directly. So for multimedia, let's divide our application into multiple microservices. We'll create one gateway microservice, one load balancer microservice, one security, one logging, and one email service. Payment is not required. One email service will create. So apart from your actual backend microservices, we have additional microservices: gateway 1, email 2, security 3, logging 4, load balancing 5, and for tracing, you don't need to have any special microservice, but yeah, we will configure some gateway Jipkin server I will use for tracing purpose. Tracing not mentioned here. I'll include that in this architecture. Tracing, how the request is going, when this request came, how this request went here. In case if there is any dependency between one microservice to another service, the calls might go from one service to another service. So how it is happened, end of the day, if you want to see how many requests executed, how they executed, is my system is healthy or not, we need to have a monitor to do all this monitoring, like how security people will see everything in videos, who came in and who went out. We should able to monitor it, which request came, when came, how it is executed. Okay, so one monitoring tool also we will use. And finally, once we completed with this right front end and backend, we will deploy all our backends into AWS. AWS providing free services, right? Just for 1-2 days deployments, we can use it. I'll show you how to use that free services to deploy database providing freely, and you can deploy your microservices also free. No need to pay anything. And Google providing email API, you can use it for free. Gateway, open source, we have security, JWT, open source, we can use logging, open source, load balancing via Eureka, open source. Everything we have open source. If you need any payment gateways, we have Paytm. Many providers are providing. I hope everyone will have Paytm account, right? You may go to your Paytm account there. They will provide Paytm gateway also. They'll provide you code as well, how to code in your Java. They will provide documentation in case if you want to integrate any payment gateways to your application. And front-end application which can be built in Angular or simple jQuery HTML, and you deploy it into your Git. Git itself we can use that like a server. Okay, so we will use public Git as it is open source. It will have limit up to 750 MB. Front-end application may not go to up to that size. And I have to think about this um, to upload images. We need some kind of open source for now. To upload the images, we need a blob storage. Let me see any blob storage available in AWS. AWS blob is actually it is giving Azure free cloud computing, free cloud storage, hybrid cloud storage service that boosts you to on-premise access to virtually limited cost. S3 bucket we can use for storage. Yeah, I hope we can log into our console and we can use this S3. I used it long back. Recently, we mostly used the Azure blobs. Azure blobs widely we used in 2-3 applications. We used Azure blob only. 5 GB of S3 standard storage for 12 months with the free tier. Okay, we will use it. In free tier, they are giving 5 GB, maybe sufficient. Okay, okay, we can use this S3 or Azure blob. Yeah. So blob storage we need to use. So via multimedia, whichever you try to upload, you can put it into blob S3 bucket. From there, you can directly generate CDNs provide to front end so that quickly they can upload images. I'll show you. And for documentation and all, I'll go step by step. Swagger, how we can use. I'm seeing a lot of problem while involving multiple teams. Uh, Recently, I have been in a e-commerce, so seeing a lot of problem there. So many teams are involving mobile development team, web development team, middleware team, backend e-commerce teams, and some cloud teams. Many teams are working and each is having dependency on other team. So they couldn't able to proceed until one team completing their activity. And application also, right, can be driven from front end to back end to front end also. As a back end developers, we always focus on back to front approach, right? We implement a database first, database structure, then we create our microservice APIs, then we provide Swagger to front end team. Front end team will check that APIs and can integrate them. So yeah. So what I was saying. Okay.
About
So
Swagger.
yeah. So not integration. The dependency is creating between multiple teams. We can avoid using Swagger. That is one channel I realized. Maybe we will go through it in depth. So that solves many problems in microservices development teams while coordinating between teams, right? That tool will talk. Instead, we are talking and we are saying, you give that, I'll give this, you give me that. A lot of dependencies teams will put. When you are involving multiple teams, right? They will play so many things instead of, giving a way or a solution, they will put always dependency on other teams. So to solve that, we can use this Swagger Hub. So after our documentation, right, we will try to use it. Even I'm still looking at how easily I can explain that. So I'll give you more about it. Okay, Swagger we all know. Generally, when you build a application, automatically Swagger UI generates. I'm not talking about that Swagger. So Swagger Hub is there. There we can design. I mean, as a non-technical person, let's say you consider me as a BA. I understand all the stories, all the attributes from the business. I can start to design API in Swagger directly. And I can share that Swagger with you, front-end team. The front-end team, I need a back-end APIs. As a BA, what I can say after creation of story, refer the Swagger. Swagger is already ready. Request structure, response structure, everything is ready. You play with it. And for the front back-end team also, back-end team may ask, give me what front-end is sending. Then the BA will say, go and refer that Swagger. You have the request structure and which response structure you need to send is available. Use that same. So here backend team will not have any dependency, front-end team will not have any dependency. The dependencies we can reduce. You know, that's becoming very critical between cross-functional teams. Earlier we don't have this much confusion because in monolithic we everybody sit together and work. Only one team used to work. But when it happens to microservices, it's not, or as a client, he need not to give the contract of all microservices to you. If you feel that you will do a better security, better things in Java for product management or for offer related things, or maybe product management, he will give that development to you and he may ask you to develop it in Java for A company. And he may visit B company for coupons and offers things. He may ask them to provide this. For the multimedia user management, he may approach a different one. So when he approach multiple teams to work parallelly, coordination will become difficult. So there we will, I mean, I'll tell you the problems and I'll give the solution for it also. So on that particular session. So what else we discussed? Yeah, on very high level, this is what we discussed. So I thought to continue with the ER diagrams, but it will not make any sense for starting with ER. Because we need to finalize all this, tasks whichever we want to do. In microservices pattern, if you want to go, we should not finalize ERs. ERs we used to finalize when it is a monolithic application. We used to analyze entire, system and we used to create entities here. But as we need to go step by step each service, right? When that service requirement comes to us, then we start design so that you can able to adopt actual microservices. Okay, so what I will do, we will do, okay, what we will do, we will create the services first, or I'll give you one example end to end, a basic, you know UI application. I'll create a basic gateway, security, logging, load balancing, you know with the services. I'll create ABCD example services. I'll make you realize architecture first, then we will put our development into each, service. We'll put actual code. Okay, so that it will be easy to you to remember it or to code it. Okay, we will practice this exercise also here. I'll ask you to everyone to execute in your machines. Okay, so that you will get some comfort on this architecture, and then we will create repositories, then we will see branching strategies. Okay, with my experience I'll give you, which strategy is safe, maybe up to 60% or 50-60% it may be fail proof. But yeah, if you are expert or if you have any better references also, you can share it with me, or any scenarios if you see that I'm deviating. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, that's all. Any doubts, any questions so far? someone asked me content, I'll share it. Okay, what all topics we covered. But remember it, you should able to do all the roles once after this session, right? You should able to uh, do the all the roles, or at least you can able to you will understand what all these roles will play in an organization. Okay, and if you know all that stuff, it's good. And from technical side, if you are looking, you will see here how we will design, you know, application in microservices architecture, and what all strategies we follow, that I'll explain. Okay, and whoever is attending the sessions, please join. Sunday one workshop session is there on MVC and solid patterns. Okay, please join that session. That's a free workshop that also will help a lot here. Okay, so during this services development, we should follow some standard patterns. Okay, I'll explain you there why we should follow them. Okay, you please join their Sunday session. You may
At what
visit
time?
durgasoft.com, 11 o'clock, 11 a.m. Let us see, will they schedule it or not. Hmm, nothing is here. I'll share you that link. Okay, I'll share you that link. And you guys, you all part of our WhatsApp groups, right? Or anybody still don't have that access?
No, I don't have,
First
sir.
class.
No, I'm saying WhatsApp group in project group.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was not able to add, sir. Can you please
Acha,
add
acha,
me?
I'll add you, Sherin. Anyway, you are part of our split batches also, right? I will add
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Naveen, I'm attending the first class. This one.
First class, right? So,
Yeah.
anybody have that WhatsApp group link with you now? Whichever I shared.
And I have one more query, Naveen.
Yeah.
Can I ask? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm from the testing background, and I know the core Java concepts.
Hmm.
So, is I fit for this course?
Do you know? Um, okay, Slack. Yeah. Do you know Spring, basic Spring?
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I had gone through that videos on my own, like
Okay.
creating a project.
Oh,
I
great
know
then.
the API classes like repositories, services, controllers. Yeah.
Yeah, that's sufficient. So you came from testing background, so that you know the complete system, how it works, or like more than a developer or like a developer. You know the system, but you see it from a different corner, right?
Yeah, I
So
want to go into a development phase. So that's
that's uh, I don't say don't go to testing anyone, but who is doing testing, I'm recommending them. Even my friends learn this APIs development. It's hardly, who knows the Java, right? Implementing this APIs is hardly 10 days to really learn everything, right? In particular, the Spring Boot. It's a
yeah,
easy task. So easily you can switch if you know this.
yeah,
And we can see the lot of variation in the pay,
yeah,
correct? Yeah.
yeah,
Though you do the more than developer coding and testing side in Selenium or in any automation tool, they pay tester packages only. You
yeah,
do
yeah,
less or whatever you do from the development, yet they'll
yeah,
pay very high.
yeah, yeah,
That's why I used to say, if you are doing, such a difficult job in the sense, Selenium particularly, lot of coding we need to write there, right?
yeah,
To
yeah,
read the data, to inject it into the placeholders, and to run that.
yeah,
It's really difficult. If you ask me, I can't do that.
yeah.
So it's easy for you.
Okay.
Doing this stuff is really easy.
Yeah,
So yeah, if you understand this architecture and the patterns and all, right?
yeah.
I mean, whatever we're discussing, easily you can able to, go into development.
And I want to join that Spring Boot course also. When it is going to start?
I will start it. Basically, I asked them to start by this month, starting itself, because other batches are running. They couldn't able to schedule it. But
Okay.
I'm also very eager to start that. Okay, so like you can expect in next 10 days. Okay. That is also fast track batch. I'll start.
Hi Naveen, I'm Sonal. Yeah, I have like same question that I'm also from the testing background and just want to know that like which kind of tools you're going to take take into consideration during this course. It's like miss, is it fine for the tester to be comfortable with the with those tools which are good? Because I'm the say I only
Hmm.
posted that question in the WhatsApp group about the syllabus. Basically, I don't. I
Acha.
just want to know the tools. Yeah.
Sure, sure. Yeah. So basically, if you are there or not, let me show you that.
Mhm.
So during discussion, I said from the initialization to right concept initialization to or initial discussion to until delivery, whatever tools are required for communication. See, basically for documentation, some kind of tools required, right? So to
Yes.
maintain documents, some tools required in an organization generally. And for
Yes.
creating mockups, you know, people
Yeah.
will use some tools. And once done with this, to create stories and all, we know what tools we will use. Jira kind of thing,
Okay. Yeah.
right? To create stories and all. And for development, developer particularly will use some IDEs,
Mhm.
right? Out of
Yeah.
these IDs, he will use some for testing and all. He will use some JUnit kind of tools
Yes.
and some Sonar kind of tools for checking code quality. You no need to put lot of effort here. Okay, these
Okay.
are the simple things that during coding we can realize them. We can install and we can see them. Okay,
Yes.
or we have something like Lombok kind of thing. These are the technical things only, but not difficult.
Okay.
Okay, in a quick turnaround, maybe in a minutes, you can learn, you can understand what it is. Okay,
Okay.
so in development particularly I'm talking,
Yes.
and databases we will use anyway, that the basic
Yeah.
SQL we will use there. So that too
Okay.
not difficult. Hardly, in minutes you can learn what is the DDL, what is DRL, and what is DL.
Yeah. Yeah.
And for deployment, we will use basic AWS free tier account. So whatever I
Okay.
do here, you can do from your end.
Yes.
So you can directly create your AWS account. I'll show from the beginning how to upload
Okay.
your services and how to integrate. And going to GoDaddy and creating your domain is not a big deal. That also minutes
Okay.
job. I'll show you that.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you know basic, I mean, the expectation is basic Java required
Yeah.
here.
I know. I know. Java
Yeah.
Spring.
And though I used to say Spring, or you don't know, it's okay. But if you know
Mm-hmm.
that, it will be easy to digest quickly.
Okay. Yeah.
Or else you may think my discussion in a different way. Your
Yeah.
brain drives in a different way if you don't know that technique, right? So if you know
Okay. Yeah.
Spring, that's great. That's it. So here we
Okay.
discussed to maintain repositories and all, right? Git kind of thing.
Yeah. Get. Yeah.
All known tools only we will use. For
Okay.
documentations, you recommend me any tool? I'm using Google Drive.
Yeah.
So if you tell me any open, generally in organization, we will use different tools
Right.
instead of
Yeah.
Google Drive. It's a public one. There they will use different tools like, you know, Microsoft, what is that? SharePoint kind of thing to maintain
Mm-hmm.
documents. SharePoint and Confluence. Recently, many started using it. This is also good tool, Confluence tool.
Okay.
For creating mockups, there are so many mockups, and as I shown you, right, Figma. There are n number of tools for creating mockups and maintain them. And for storage maintenance, you can use
Jira.
Jira.
Yeah.
Recently, I see some ADO, Azure also providing it. to do all this. So people, mostly 99.9%, we started, with the Jira only since 2012 or 13, we started using it. So now recently ADOs providing all similar features. Okay, Jira not only maintaining stories, there are so many dependencies between Jira and Git also given. For deployments also we can use Jira or we can use Git directly. So many integration supports also there. So that Jira will provide. And IDs, anyway, STS we will use. And for database, we will use Workbench, MySQL.
Yeah.
For development, anyway, when we move it to AWS, there we will use RDS concepts and EC2 concepts or the S3 concept. So EC2 and we will use Java runtime environment. Java runtime directly we can use. GoDaddy domain creation, mapping, repos. So it's completely like a real time. Like a real time means it should be able to deployable and usable.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah. Thanks.
why I choose this pattern is showing project development in local machine is not a big deal. You will miss so many concepts if I run application in local and show it to you. You will really miss so many concepts like environment variables. When you move your application from local application environment to consider you are a developer. If you don't know about environments, if you want to move from your local to next level environment, SIT for testing team, you can't do that. If you don't know about these environments, that become a difficult job to you. If you don't keep it in that mind that you are moving your application after development, you need to move it to testers for testing team. From there, we move it to user acceptance testing and prod. If you don't consider beginning or designing of your application, if you don't consider them, your application will become useless. Though you develop it, it will be useless because this is developed not for running in your local machine. It should run in production. It should run in UAT, SIT, whatever environment. In production also, if you want to maintain something continuity of business, you should be able to run there also. So you should keep all these environments in mind during designing of your application so that somehow we should be able to design this application in a dynamic structure to suitable to all the environments. Okay.
Yeah. Understood.
So yeah, such a Java runtime environment we use here. So when we move to production environment, how do we move and what dependencies we change in local, what properties we will maintain. When we move to next environment, really you should focus on which environment variables. So if you understand this end to end, cracking interview or being part of team is not a big deal to you.
Yes.
You will get a exposure up to lead level or up to a kind of junior architect level because you doing here from the business analysis to production deployment. You have been involved, you are involved into all the areas. Okay. Yeah.
Thanks for explaining.
Yeah.
Can
One line.
I understand the back end side, but in the front end, I didn't work that much. In the stories, but what people do in companies means using Jira, ADO, what people do, that stories part.
Here we will discuss about the agile and I'll explain that this. Okay. We need a good discussion here. It will help you a lot. because I'm very confident in agile practice. So I'll explain you this. So basically here we create whatever discussions we had, right? Whatever development points we have taken, that we will put them here and we will give it to the team. So Sherin is good in backend development. I'll give backend story to Sherin. And if Rajesh is good in front end, I'll give front end story to Rajesh. That's how we distribute stories here. We'll maintain all the team members here in Jira and we will assign their tasks, daily task you call it, or weekly tasks. We will assign to them. They will work on it. Okay. So
Okay,
here
sir.
we develop both front end and back. So as a team, if you guys wants to participate in directly development, I'll leave it to you. In earlier session, what happened, I did everything front end, back end. It took a lot of time. We consider it as a small system, but it became big. I was unable to code it. Even we spent almost 4 or 5 months. So whatever design or whatever UI and backends we implemented, it's not a big deal. When it comes to front end, it became very difficult to us. So this time my strategy is I want to close the development first, before jumping into all extra topics so that we can conclude it. And this time the system is small in terms as a single person. If I code, generally we spend 1 hour time here, right? Hardly in that 1 hour discussion, how much I can code. Let's say even if I spend 2 months here also weekly 5 days, right? Hardly my efforts is 50 hours efforts or 40 hours efforts. In that 40 hours efforts itself, I should be able to finish back end and front end. Okay. So we'll try to minimize the coding part, but we'll try to implement end to end, whatever we implement. Okay.
Yeah, hello sir. This is
Yes.
Rajesh.
Yeah, Raj.
Sir, actually I was following those 6:30 class batch recorded videos. This is the first live class I have joined.
Okay.
This is a continuation of that class.
Continuation only, right? That is regular
Thank you,
batch.
sir.
People came, and what I did, I created one more batch invitation because still we are in the discussion phase only, right? I thought to invite
Yeah,
more people here. Then I'm continuing it.
okay, sir. And I don't have access for those videos. Actually, I have access for only 6 or 7 starting videos. I was not, I, I didn't receive that file access also. Daily notes access.
I'll share it.
Can you add me, sir?
Yeah. Just
And
that's a
parallelly,
public link. Public link only. I'll share it. Okay.
and parallelly, if you have any groups for communication, will you add me in that groups? So it's better for me for
Yeah,
communication.
this is my number. I'm putting here. Ping me. Okay.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Ping me on this number. I'll add you in the group.
Sure.
Did you note it?
No, 1 minute.
So Naveen, from Monday, the time will be like 7:30 a.m. for you or
Um,
6:30?
yeah, it depends on the confirmations. I mean, whoever coming new, right? Once I take
Okay.
confirmations from them, we will generate one more new meeting link based on
Okay.
everybody's comfort. Okay, I don't want to put my only time. Let's
Mhm.
ask everybody if they are going to office, and if it is really late for them, if we complete by 8:30, we'll try to prepone it. Or if somebody
Okay.
attending from US or some places, for them it may
Yeah,
be.
I am I am from US, so that's why I'm
Yeah.
asking you.
So we
Yeah.
need to adjust because we will see different categories people
Time
here.
zones. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Let us know. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Sir, what
one
was
good
the
thing
course
is
duration, sir?
duration two months. Definitely it go 2 months or beyond 2 months. I mean 2 months or beyond 2 months. Why I'm saying it? We will play with the real time deployments and all, right? We will enjoy it really. Okay. Every session we will enjoy it. So let it take any number of sessions. I'll try to finish it in 50 sessions. So if it go beyond that also, it's okay. Okay.
Sir, can you display the number one?
Oh. Level 6248.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Noted.
Okay. No. Can someone ping me in the chat saying hi in this Zoom chat? Did you ping me? I can't see this menu. Excuse me. Okay. So any questions here? Yeah, Venkatesh, you there still?
Yes, Naveen, I'm there.
Yeah. So you are part of 6:30 session, right?
Yes, yes.
Is it okay for you if it is 7:30 to 8:30?
Actually, as you said, like there are clash with the office timing, so that's where like 6:30 is comfortable for me. Actually,
7? What about
7 is
7?
fine. 7 is fine.
7 also fine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's happening is, I mean, I used to sleep around 11 or 12 daily. That's how as I had kids, right? They are not sleeping by uh, 11, almost till 12 they are playing and sleeping. So waking up 6:30
My
is really
client is
becoming.
US client, so we have to work late till
Yeah.
12, sometimes 11:30.
Oh, it's become, yeah, for you what's happens if you couldn't able to wake up, it's okay, you can go through recording, but for me, I should jump from the bed and immediately I should join the session.
Right.
But yeah, it's not a big deal, as I feel very happy during discussions, I'll try to contribute here, but really becoming difficult waking up that 6:30. Yeah, but I'll try to manage it, and we'll try to put at least from 7, okay, 7 to 8. Once everybody finalize, right, I'll move the time to 7 to 8. And weekends also we'll spend time if we want to see any cloud techniques and all, right. I'll schedule weekend workshops for design patterns and all. You can join there so that you will enjoy that patterns also. Very layman terms, I'll explain why this pattern, how it benefit us. Okay, so yeah.
So this weekend there are no classes, right? On Monday directly we will meet.
We have, I said, right, they did schedule it. I don't know. I'll follow up with them on 5th, right? This Sunday morning, 11 a.m. Just continuously design
So, like
patterns.
Naveen, can we get the recording for this fifth?
That will
The
be
classes
uploaded. Yeah, free
it will be
workshop
uploaded.
videos always. Yeah, they don't even
Okay,
take my
on
permission.
the website.
Yeah, in YouTube itself. If you go to
In the
DURGASOFT YouTube, latest videos you can see.
Okay.
On
Fine,
5th, right? Once
Yeah.
it's complete, good. on 5th evening
Yeah.
or 6th morning. When you search, you will see.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Ah,
Same like, can you please share the code every day also? Because if every day not sharing, then if we type by looking video, it will take long time. Then cannot understand the full concept we learn each day. At least share code, then at least we can run it in our machine and we can understand the concept. Later we can explore. But every day not practicing, right? Then later it's so hard to
we will
look
do
again.
this practice here. Okay, what practice is? We will directly create Git repositories after coding. What generally you need to do in a company? We need to delegate the pull and we need to finally commit our code end of the day, right? Same practice we do here.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
If it is at least a workable copy, we will commit it so that everybody can pull and use it. The same way how I pull and do it in my machine. Okay. Instead of doing direct upload, I'll do this so that you will get some hands on Git as well.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Rajesh, do you have anything? Yeah, Venkatesh.
Sir, will we use Docker here to deploy our microservice applications?
That is not. I mean, we are not doing Docker here.
So
I'll try
directly
to
we will be using AWS, right?
directly. I'll deploy our services into AWS.
Okay, okay. So actually, like in the markets, most of them are using Docker Kubernetes.
Using
Docker Kubernetes, right?
using it, but you know why I can't commit on this is I try to make it that software in my machine it is not working. Otherwise, doing that it's not a big deal to us. I will give you example. Okay.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Sure, definitely we'll do that. All real-time practices 100% may not cover, may not able to cover setting a pipeline and configuring it everything because even I'm not so proficient in that area. But I'll try to explain you what we can, or what we need to know in that particular layer. Coming to Docker or Kubernetes, yeah, of course, Docker questions asking for developers. So I'll try to, put some concepts on it. Okay. Any questions? Everyone good? So just yeah, if you want to continue, you know, uh, do with your payment, they will share you direct link, which already paid students also we have, right? So along with them, you will get that paid link to you, and all the videos will be shared with you in your Google Drive itself. So that we can continue. I mean, without waiting for others. Okay. So get it by Monday. We'll continue. Okay. Any questions? We have time.
No questions, right? Yeah, thank you.
No,
Yeah.
we are good.
Okay. Then thank you all. Okay. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Thank you. Have a good weekend, everyone. Bye.